Hey, thank you for tuning in the Inquisitive Minds podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. Today, we have a return guest and a new guest, paranormal investigator, author, so much more, speaker, Ed Kelemen.
Hello.
And paranormal investigator, and I'm sure a plethora of so much more, Nancy Wilkins. All right, we got that right. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the program. So, since the last time we saw you, what have you been up to, Ed? I know you got a new book out. I'm going to put that up real quick. I'll share it on the Facebook page, too, but it's Haunted Objects of Pennsylvania. That's coming out in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be just about 2 weeks. Then I'll probably have copies in my hand in maybe 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll take a while. It's about, actually, the title's self-descriptive, Haunted Objects. We got rocking chairs, hobby horses.
Can you give us a little sneak peek of something you investigated haunted?
In that book?
Yes.
Well, one of our favorite places to go is 1806 Antiques, located up in Jennerstown, PA, right on Route 30. And the one object that's in the book is, believe it or not, a toy gun.
Okay.
It's haunted. And we're doing an investigation there, and we're up on the third floor attic. And we have a tool called a K2 meter. It detects EMF, electromechanical fields.
Mm-hmm.
It works good when you're doing paranormal investigation because spirits are made of electromechanical energy. That's what we are. We're electrical. That's what we are. And so it'll pick up the electrical energy. That tool's original job was to find wires in walls, live wires in walls.
Okay.
But it works for this too. So we're up here on the third floor, and the K2 meter starts pinging. And it's going through yellow, orange, red, and it's up there. And there's an ironing board with all these tools sitting on it. So we couldn't figure out what was going on. There was nothing electrical at all about that. And these are all antique tools. So we started taking one item off at a time. And finally we got down to the little toy gun from the 1950s, a dart gun.
Okay.
And it pinged on it.
Hmm.
And we couldn't figure out what was the matter with that. And then my daughter, Kathy, she says, "Oh, I know." I said, "Well, you know what?" She says, "I think it's the kids from the second floor. The little boy wants that for a toy." Because there's the spirits of two young children on the second floor.
Okay.
The little boy, we think, died of an accident or something in a house behind this building. And the little girl, we think, died of tuberculosis a long time ago, back around the turn of the 20th century. And so anyhow, she said, "Okay, give me." We took the toy down, and the owner, Fran, of 1806 Antiques, has a rapport with these two little ghostly children. And she has a little stash up there of toys for them to play with. And sometimes you'll be downstairs and you'll hear like marbles rolling along the floor, or a little toy truck that was one spot, it's in a different spot now.
Okay.
Same thing with a doll.
Just kids being kids, except for ghosts.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we get down there, and you put the little toy dart gun in with their stash of toys. Next thing I know, Kathy is standing off one side, and she's tears coming down her face. I says, "What's the matter, hon?" She says, "He's hugging me around the legs, thanking me."
Oh, man, that's got to be powerful.
Yeah. And that's one of the stories in the book, yeah.
Wow. So, guys, make sure you check that out. Sounds, from the story he just told, it sounds like it's going to be a great read. Very fascinating and interesting. When you did the preparation for this book, you investigated everything in person?
Just about everything I could, I investigated in person. I'm trying to think offhand, like haunted rocking chairs, back bars. A couple of back bars in bars are haunted. You're sitting there having yourself a little, minding your own business, having a shot in a beer, right? You look up in the mirror, and there's someone standing behind you looking over your shoulder.
Oh.
You turn around, and he's not there. Also, it's, a couple bars out east, someone standing behind you. You don't think they're wearing garb from like the 1820s. They're a little older. They cater to an older population, I guess.
Now, were you inspired by this from other things, or did you just come across some haunted? I guess the elephant in the room is there's the story of the Annabelle doll. Did that influence you at all when looking for these things?
No.
That's fair.
No, it's as I'm doing investigations, I come across different classes of hauntings. Like one of my books is Haunted Route 30. That's all the hauntings along Route 30. The books, they have a theme to them. And then you have the haunted churches and cemeteries, which is kind of self-explanatory. So while I'm going through researching these other books, I come across these other things, and they didn't really have a geographical theme to them, but they had a theme in that there were objects. There were certain kinds of objects that could be grouped together. Some of the favorite ones for the spirits to mess with is pianos in various places. Over at what's the name of that college out east? I think it's Bryn Mawr.
Okay.
No, Villanova. They're close to each other, same difference. They're only a mile apart. But Villanova had a music area there where they had 11 separate pianos that would spontaneously start playing by themselves in different parts of the building. And it was keeping security people on the run.
Now, how does something get attached to an object?
Well, it has to have a deep meaning and an attachment to someone while they're alive. Like me, you'd never see me attach myself to a piano.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even play chopsticks.
Okay.
All right, but someone who has studied piano, it was a large part of their life, and would develop an attachment to it for some reason or another.
So there's a chance when I die, I could potentially haunt a microphone.
You could.
Yes.
Guys, you will kill the crowd with that one. Nancy, we haven't had you on the program before. Can we learn a little bit about you? When did you get into the paranormal field?
Oh, just recently.
Okay.
I've always been interested, and Ed and I have known each other for years and years and years, and I came across his book.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, I would constantly message him, oh, what about this? What about that? What's going on? It was fascinating. And now that I'm into it, it's fun.
The deeper you get in, the deeper you got to reach further. It's
right.
Like I'm very casual with it. I've done some amateur stuff, but every time I talk to someone like you, Ed, or another person that's had a crazy experience, it makes my mouth salivate.
Yeah.
Is the way I put it. Now, do you guys go on a lot of investigations together?
Well, we've started going on all my investigations. Nancy has been accompanying me with lately.
Okay.
And I have to tell you one interesting. Maybe I get Nancy to tell you about it. We were 2 weeks ago at the Mansfield Reformatory, which is where they shot the Shawshank Redemption.
And that's in Ohio?
Right,
Yeah.
Mansfield, Ohio. Well, we wound up we found ourselves down in the solitary confinement cells, right next to one of the solitary confinement cells where a guy hung himself. And we had our little K2 meter with us. So I'll let Nancy take it over from here, and she can tell you what happened there.
All right, so we went into the cell. Of course, it's dark, the guide, we were on the tour, so the guide said, go into these cells. There had been somebody, I believe, committed suicide one door away, one cell away.
One cell down.
And we figured, why not pull out the K2 meter and see what we got? And we got good readings. Very good. It just lit up all over the place.
And we actually
It's pretty exciting.
We actually conversed with the spirit using
Yeah.
the K2 meter.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Asked questions.
Can you
and-
explain how that works a little bit?
Explain to him
Sure.
how you work that, hon.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I love it. When you turn on the K2 meter, it gives you a base reading, and it's green. And there it goes the whole way up to red. Green, orange, yellow, and then red. Am I right?
Close, yeah.
Yeah. So when you ask a question, the meter reads the answer if the spirit's willing to give an answer,
Oh, so they like give the field to you and raise up the meter for. Okay.
Exactly. The way it works is that the spirit, we explain to the spirit, the closer they come to the K2 meter, the higher the reading will be. So we tell them, if it's a yes answer, come close and we'll get a high reading. If it's a no answer, just stay where you are.
Right. And I also videotaped it. We haven't had the opportunity to sit down and listen to the video, but yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
What did you guys ask? Did you find out anything about the spirit?
Yes, we did. We asked if he died in there. He didn't die in there. He didn't commit suicide. He knew somebody that committed suicide, so yeah.
That's very interesting.
And we also
was.
asked him if he wanted to cross over, and he was
Right.
he affirmative. He wanted to cross over,
Mm-hmm.
but at that particular time, we weren't equipped to help him cross over, and we will be going back.
I'm very interested in how you help someone cross over.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still.
You do. There are different ways
Yeah.
of
Oh,
doing
okay.
it. It depends.
Yeah, we think with this particular person, we're going to require the help of a psychic to help him cross over, so that we get absolute verification that it was successful and he did cross over. Basically, to help someone cross over, you tell them to go towards the light, and you know where the light is, and we open up a portal, and you go towards the light because that's where you belong. You don't belong over here, and that. They say they want to cross over, but the ability to cross over is within them. And you just have to show them the way to do it. That's all.
I have a odd question, and I don't know where you stand on this, so forgive my ignorance if it's way off. But has there been a situation where you or both of you have been investigating a spirit, and it turned out to be something more malicious than an actual spirit?
I've been doing
No.
this for well over 20 years. Okay. I have yet to encounter a demon.
Okay.
Okay. I have encountered a number of what I call recalcitrant spirits. They have less than beneficial aims for us.
Okay.
But
Hey, I've encountered a demon before.
You
My
have?
ex-wife.
I was just going to ask you, did you get divorced? I mean, I know the feeling.
My.
I share your pain. Oh, actually, I share your joy.
My one buddy has a joke, and he goes, don't feel bad about my divorce. It wasn't like I left her because she was too good for my mental health.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I lost track over that.
I know.
So do I.
Oh, you haven't encountered a demon, but
No,
you've
we-
encountered some.
I think last time I was here, I told you there was like.
You told me a
spirits-
story
spiritual-
about a possession. Your buddy was like mildly possessed. Maybe that wasn't you.
That probably wasn't me.
There was someone who told me a story. It was Tom. Oh, do you remember his name? Tom Barker. Tom Barker
okay.
was telling me a story about how he was in an investigation and his friend was getting possessed, and like they did a little what's the word I'm looking for? Cleansing or whatever.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
With sage.
And,
yeah, sage
and
cleansing.
ended up getting it out of him, but it was like going back and forth for a while. Okay, I'm sorry.
We do that frequently. Okay, because like I say, we have these. Spirits are just people. The body dies and the spirit lives on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were a nice guy when you were alive, you're going to be a nice guy after you're gone. If you were an average guy when you're alive, you'll be an average guy. But if you were an asshole when you were alive, you're not going to change.
Yeah.
You're still going to be an asshole. And so we encounter negative spirits frequently. Okay. Now the problem I have with that is that negativity can attach to you. And you'll bring it home with you. And Nancy will tell you from time to time, I've done an investigation, come home, and I'm like super negative. I got I'm a real pain in the
it's
butt
terrible.
to be around. Yeah, and what we do, we say a prayer before, and it's just a simple prayer. Prayers that we learned when we were kids
Right.
to protect us while we're there, and then when we're ready to leave. We also sometimes, not always, okay, depending on who we're working with as a psychic, okay, the psychic can say a prayer and be able to spot our aura to see if we need cleansing. Otherwise, if we don't have a good psychic with us, we will cleanse ourselves as we're leaving. So we don't take anything home with us, and it's a simple matter of using white sage smoke on you to cleanse you, because for some reason the spirits don't like that, and they avoid it.
I use selenite crystal.
Okay,
Or-
I'm not sure what that is.
I can show you.
Okay.
We're on radio.
I love. I can show you.
No, we're on video too. They'll be on.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a white. It's so common.
By the way, good time to say check out our YouTube channel, guys. New videos posted weekly.
All right.
I didn't bring it. I brought a different one. I'm very much into crystals and positive energy, but it's just like a little white stick.
Okay.
Not a stick, but it's a crystal.
And I have a black onyx
And
one that I use.
Cleanse
Oh, okay.
myself.
When you say the negativity attached to you, when like say you went home with a negative attachment, is it like the actual negativity, or does that presence also come with it?
No, I would welcome sometimes. I'd rather have the presence come along with me instead of the negativity, because I can get rid of the presence real easy.
Okay.
And I can realize it's there and get rid of it. But when I am being negative, I don't know I'm being negative. I just think I'm being normal. But it's just like you get a negative attitude, negative reactions to things, and you be hypercritical of things and stuff like that. And that's what we try to get that away from us before we leave.
I also have another question about this book. Any of these haunted objects, do you own any of them?
Nope, not in that book.
No, okay. Oh, but you do have haunted artifacts?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't mind, what do you have?
I only have like one.
Okay.
And what it is in there's a art center in Johnstown called the Bottle Works, and my books are for sale over there. Well, I had two of my books there, and I can't remember the entire story, but the spirit of an architect supposedly haunts that place, and for some reason, but my books got burned.
Oh.
And it's the only thing on the bookshelf that got burned was these two books next to him. I guess maybe he's a critic. He didn't like the way I wrote them or something. he didn't care about the hauntings on Route 22, or maybe I didn't include him and he got upset or something.
Yeah.
But that was just those two books are burned. I have them in my office held together with plexiglass now, and I got them when they were fresh, freshly burned. And if you smelled them, there is no char smell at all to it. It's just the pages are burnt. That's it, and it's not complete. It's one edge and corner is burnt, almost as though you took a Bic lighter to it and held the flame around it and you burnt the edges of the pages and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Everyone's a critic, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
In life
thought.
and death.
Yeah.
Now, when you were on this Mansfield tour and investigation, is that the only spirit you picked up was in solitary?
Right, because I am not real sensitive to the spirits. I usually have to have a working with a psychic to locate the spirits.
Right.
And if I'm working with a psychic, sometimes the psychic's abilities will bleed over to me in a minimal way. In a minimal way. Nancy, on the other hand, she's sensitive, but she's not really a psychic, but she's sensitive, and she can feel these things, and you're better off asking her more than me, because we were all over that place. I never went up and down so many steps in my life. That thing, that range is 5 stories high.
Right.
Nancy, that's something I've spoken with quite a few people about, actually, and a lot of people will tell me I'm sensitive, but I want a more descriptive answer, if you could. Can you explain to us a little bit about it?
Oh, sure. You just feel different energies, like you're like his mood. It'll alter a little bit, and you'll get a feeling of, either happiness or kind of glum. In the shower room where they did talks, excuse me, I could feel a lot in there, and they did say it was the most haunted. I didn't know at that time.
I think the inmates in the shower room felt a lot too. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So when you feel that, does it get heavier? Like
Sometimes.
What is the feeling like
Yeah.
in your body, I guess?
It does. It feels like a weight is on you.
Okay.
But, and I use crystal a lot because you don't want anything negative to attach to you.
And you've been using crystals for a while?
Yeah. Practically all my life.
Can you go into a little bit about that too? That's another thing. Like I talked, people were very casual with certain things.
Oh, and you don't know.
And I don't know what it is, and then I'll ask them, and they'll just flutter. But
right.
they're usually just surface level. So, your experience with crystals? How do they work? What do they do?
It makes you feel better, even if you don't believe in them. That they have energy and things like that, which they do. I use them to protect me. I use them to help other people. I do Reiki, so that helps.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we had Courtney Tackett on here. She's a
Okay.
Reiki practitioner.
Nothing but positive comes from me, you know.
I like
So,
it.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
Are there different crystals for different reasons?
There are. I can't even get into it. There's so many different crystals. You know, the chakra crystals are, for each chakra, you have a crown chakra, third eye, throat, heart, sacral, you know, and root chakra. You can hold the crystals to help heal yourself, and Reiki is kind of like almost like a meditation thing. You take universal energy. It's free to everybody, no bill included.
Okay.
And you can heal yourself. I do it every day, which is a good practice, and I send out positive energy to a lot of different people and healing energy. A friend of mine is going through a very hard stage in his marriage, and I've been trying to heal his heart.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. You were telling me off air, though, you've been a busy guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, like I said, 2 weeks ago we were at the Mansfield Reformatory, not in Mansfield. Like I said, we're the Shawshank Redemption. I can't say that too good. Shawshank Redemption. You know.
I know,
Anyhow,
it's a little twist.
yeah, where that was shot, and they have the some of the props for the movies and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And I had never seen the movie.
Oh.
So Nancy is showing me to one room, says Brooks was here, and so was, what's your guy's name?
Red.
Yes, so was Red. And I said, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I saw the movie that this is the room where the guy supposedly committed suicide.
Right. Now they filmed it in the jail.
Yeah.
That's not where it's supposed to be, but it was.
Yeah,
It was actually the room that they used to film it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Really neat. If you ever get a chance, go.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I'm sure at
fun.
some point I'll make my way out
Yeah,
there.
we were there, and we went up on the upper level of the penitentiary, where all the ventilation equipment and everything is. So they call it the attic. Well, obviously,
Yes.
They had 300 people up there. They had stored 300 prisoners, the overflow from museum, up there on cots.
Right.
And if you walk there, you take a flashlight, you walk along the walls. These prisoners had graffiti written on the walls.
Yeah, the
Guy's
writing.
name and his prisoner number, so and so date, 1938, 1928. It's extremely interesting.
Anybody who's
It
been
was
arrested, especially in Allegheny County, when you go to jail, the first couple days when you're in processing, that's all you can do is read the graffiti on the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tone Bone was here 9/7, or
Yeah.
whatever it says.
I wonder if they whitewashed that out when they went to the new prison, the new jail. I don't know.
I've never been to the old one. It was before my time.
Yeah. When I was on police force, I used to take people down to the old one all the time.
From what I understand, it was like on a carousel. Is that true?
No, it was the design of the jail was like, I forget there's a word for it, but what it means is the ranges of cells are in like a circular pattern.
Okay.
Where you can stand in the middle and look up at all of them. Okay.
Oh,
Not all of
okay.
them, but most of them.
Okay.
You
Yeah, I didn't know
like
that.
Eastern State is the spoked wheel pattern, and then Mansfield was the wings. Cool thing in Mansfield, they built the first part of that, the first wing, loaded up with prisoners, and they put the prisoners to work, built the next wing.
Yep.
That doesn't surprise me, though.
Nope.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at
And
all.
they have an electric chair there too.
Oh, okay.
They call it Old Sparky, which is a pretty common name for an electric chair, I guess.
Did they take you guys to that too? And like,
Well, we couldn't get up close to it. It's behind plexiglass thing. I don't want people messing with it. It's not. They never executed anybody at Mansfield. Okay. This electric chair is from the Columbus prison in Columbus, Ohio, and 315 people died in that chair, and 9 of them were women.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always find it fascinating. I wonder what those women did, because it's such a low number
Yeah.
in comparison. And it feels like women are judged less harshly, at least in previous times. So to get a death sentence,
Yeah.
you had to really do some shit.
Right.
You had to do something. Where else you been? You said there was a convention on Saturday.
Okay, this last Saturday we were at a Bigfoot convention at the it's a Fayette County Bigfoot convention at the Morrell Fire Hall in I think it's here Dunbar or Dawson, right south of on 119, south of Connellsville. And then,
My mother's been in the hospital, or else I would have attended that one.
oh, okay.
Because I went to that one, I think, a year ago.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Oh, a year ago, I talked there. Yay.
Yeah.
He does a good job when he talks.
I was there. I saw John Venture.
Yeah, John was there. John Ventry, yeah.
You know my buddy, Fred Saluga.
Oh, yeah.
I love Fred.
Oh, Fred is so cool.
There was a couple other guys. Tony Laborn, I think it is.
Lavorne.
Yeah, me and him been talking about. We just haven't gotten able to get a solid date in, but he'll be on here at some
Oh,
point.
okay, great. Yeah,
Good.
because Tony had a podcast for a very long time. I don't know if he's still doing it.
Yeah, that's what he was telling
It was
me.
called Mystery Legends and Lore of Pennsylvania. I forget what it was.
Something to that effect.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. So how was that convention?
it was great. It was great. And with this COVID crap being, eased up a little bit and everything, had a fairly good crowd. And a lot of vendors there. And we had a really good day. We had a really good time there.
I'm so excited.
Plus, it was air conditioned.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see a convention with no restrictions.
Right.
Because I've
Right.
only been able to go to them, mask
Mask.
on, half
Yeah.
capacity
So
or whatever.
different.
Yeah, and this Tuesday I'm going to be at the Chestnut Ridge Historic Society in Stallstown, down in Stallstown, PA. Giving them, I'll be flapping my jaws about.
What's the topic of your speech down there?
I'll be talking about paranormal, local hauntings, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and-
Okay.
Then we're home for a day, and actually not because we have doctor's appointments and things. But on Thursday we're leaving to go up to Marionville, PA, and we have the Elk County Bigfoot Festival. It's going to run 3 days up in Elk County.
I don't want to missay the name, but I had a guest on who wrote a book called The Elk County Murders.
Oh, cool.
And I want to look him up and give him a shout out real quick. Although now I feel like a dickhead for not knowing it off the top
You
of my
can't
head.
remember
That's
all-
okay.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast. What did I have for breakfast?
Chicken
Chicken.
or oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
Did you
That's
have
it.
oatmeal?
James T. Baumgratz.
Oh, okay.
He's the author of Elk County Murders, among other books in that. But you get a chance, check that out. It's a very interesting
I
read.
will. What a cool name for an author, too.
Yeah, he's got some other stuff coming out about different. It's like about mysterious murders and happenings. And
Oh, see, I love that.
so it's like it's not paranormal, but it's right on the edge.
right.
You know, some wild stuff like that.
And plus, this past weekend was the big paranormal conference in Gettysburg. It was at the Eisenhower Center. I didn't get a chance to go because I was doing something else.
I was supposed to go to Gettysburg last year at some point. Didn't make it down there. Is there a lot of activity down there? I imagine there would be.
Oh yeah. Gettysburg is considered the most haunted city in the United States.
Oh, really?
Right. But for our purposes, the most haunted place we've ever been at is a railroad museum over in Strasbourg. It's just super, super haunted over there.
Yeah, lay it on me, Ed.
Well, I think I mentioned before, we estimate this is a rough estimation, between 8 and 10,000 spirits in that
Holy
place.
shit!
Okay.
8 and 10,000.
And that's
It's a lot.
inside. Yeah.
How big is this place, by the
It's
way?
huge. They have, let's see, either 5 or 6 railroad tracks through it.
Okay.
Okay, and each railroad track has maybe 10 or 12 pieces of equipment on it. And it's beautiful. It's air conditioned. They have a mock-up of a 1912 railroad station there, and it's for the whole family. It
is.
But all these equipment, this is all historic equipment. There's cars going back to the early and mid 1800s, all the way up through the 1950s.
Okay.
Cars and locomotives and you name it, they have it there. Matter of fact, we were called in to do the investigation there by the curator, because I had written a book called The Haunted Railroads of Pennsylvania, strangely enough, and I was over at their bookstore huckstering the book, because that's
Huckstering. I like that
Huckstering.
word.
I'd like to get out there and 'cause I need to make a few bucks here and there, because otherwise they'll shut my electric off and I won't be able to work the computer anymore, and there's no more books.
It's
So the lady at the Laura, who runs the gift shop, she bought a few books, and then she said that the curator wants to speak to you. And I'm thinking, oh Christ, what did I do? Because I went to a Catholic school. Whenever the principal wants to talk to you, it's never good. So I figured, okay, what did I do? So I go back there, and the guy says, We've been having some trouble lately with paranormal activity in the museum. Would you be interested in doing an investigation here? And on the outside, I said, yeah, I think I could do that. On the inside, I'm going, yeah.
We're junkies.
Yeah. And so,
Got any more of them spirits?
yeah. And so I asked them what the item, what their problem was. They have an engine, a great big old steam engine, number 1187. Said people have been touring the museum, and then they come out to the ticket office on their way out, and they congratulate the people on the ticket office on the authenticity of the reenactors up on inside the museum. And they said that engineer and firemen on that number 1187 are so real and so authentic, they even have soot on their faces.
Oh, man.
And there's no reenactors in the museum.
Yeah. Now, with 8 to 10,000 estimated spirits,
Yeah.
how did they all get there?
By train.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you laid yourself open for that one.
That was a great answer.
No, what it is these are all residual hauntings. You know, there's two kind of hauntings, active and residual. And a residual haunting is what most people say when they experience when they see a ghost or what they think is a ghost. It's not an actual haunting, okay? It's an imprint on the environment. The environment remembers certain things, and it's imprinted on it. And
So like a timestamp.
yes, and it's when you're seeing it, it's like you're looking at a hologram or a loop. You cannot interact with those spirits because they're not really there.
Okay.
They'll be walking back and forth and everything else, but you know they're just a picture, like watching a movie or a video or something. And that's what we say. Like when we walked into the museum, while I was with Kat, she stopped dead in her tracks and she says, "Oh my God, look at all the people!" And I don't see anybody, right? And I'm like, okay, sweetie, what do you see? She starts describing these people. Now, she is a product of the Pennsylvania public school system. So obviously she had no history or anything like that. Okay, so she's describing uniforms that these soldiers are wearing from the different wars. And she's hitting them dead on accurate descriptions of, like she's describing the doughboys. And they got that hat on her head, look like Smokey the Bear, this kind of stuff. And then she's describing women. She was describing one woman. One woman was wearing a bustle, and she was laughing. Kathy was just laughing. She said, "I wonder how she sits down." And
What's a bustle? Is that wooden
it's
skirt?
that thing on the back makes your butt look big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was laughing at that.
That's all.
Yeah, and that like that. And so that's what we mean when we say like that. 8 to 10,000. Okay, they can experience all these people if you're sensitive.
So for someone like your daughter, that's got to be like overstimulation walking in there.
Yes, and she can only be in there for like 20 minutes to a half an hour.
That was my next question. Was there any like struggles? Was she like, too much?
Right. Yeah. Kathy can only handle overstimulation for a certain period of time before she has like a meltdown. Oops. So she was good for like 20 minutes or half an hour, and then she starts getting in arguments with the spirits, and
that to me is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I want to have her in here at some point just to discuss our arguments with spirits.
Oh, I would like to have her here today, but she got this horrible condition right now. It's called employment. Okay.
Oh.
She's one of the unfortunate ones that couldn't get that extra money a week, so she actually had to go out there and work for her money, and that's what she's doing today.
Well, I hope her ailment clears up as fast as possible. No, that to me is just a great concept. Just arguing with the spirit, because I wonder, what the hell are you arguing about? They're already dead.
Well, the one was an engineer on a train. Okay, did I mention this to you before? The old Tahoe 20 train.
You mentioned some of the train stuff, but I don't know if you mentioned this specifically.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think so.
We had done We've been back to that museum like 7 times already.
And if he did, and you guys listened to it and already heard it, fucking listen again. It's interesting.
But anyhow, we had.
You can criticize the show, listeners, when you buy a goddamn shirt. Buy some merch. Go ahead, Ed.
But my main psychic. Miss LaGuardia.
Beverly?
Beverly, my main psychic, Beverly, and I had done an investigation a week or two before at the museum, and we encountered the spirit of a engineer on a one train called a Tahoe 20. This is this one of those old Wild Western trains you see. You got the weird-looking smokestack that goes up, and it's all kinds of brass work and everything on it. And it was used on the Comstock lode out west to haul silver ore. Well, around 1910, it was converted to run on oil instead of, it was originally ran on wood. And it was converted to run on oil, and it was brought back east, and they put it to work in a quarry in Pennsylvania. At some point there, this particular engineer was operating the train. Well, his spirit's still operating the train, and he thinks he's still making runs. And he likes ladies. Okay, like when Bev was up here, he was flirting with her. Another time, she was up there, she sat on the little jump seat that he used to operate, and he smacked her in the butt to get her off his jump seat.
Oh,
yeah. So
Let me.
Yeah.
When I went up on the train so that he could take a picture, I was standing there looking out the window, and I thought, I hope nobody smacks me in the butt. And I didn't even know that he did that to Beverly.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, mine's all internal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about 2 weeks later, I have Kathy at the museum. So I told her, I said, go on up there in that train. Oh, by the way, Beverly had found out that his name was Ralph.
Ralph.
Okay.
Ralph.
Okay.
And another psychic in between time stopped by the museum and told the curator, hey, you got an engineer on that train. And he's, yeah, we do. He said, his name is Ralph? Yeah. So that was verification for us.
Yeah.
So I put Kat up there. I said, go up there and see what you can find out up there. And we really want to know the names of the people on the train, if there's any spirits up, what their names are.
Mm-hmm.
So she's up there, and I hear her talking, blah, 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 and I'm not paying. And then I hear her say, Ralph, would like to know the name of your helper. And naturally, I don't hear anything. Time goes by, and Ralph would like to know the name of your helper. A little bit more time goes by, and says, it would only be common decency to answer a question when you're asked a question.
Yeah.
So I can see Kathy is starting to get a little upset now.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, I hear this profane explosion coming out of the cab of the train. I don't care about your MFing train. All you want to do is tell me about your train. I don't care about your train. I told you before I'd like to know the name of your helper, and you won't tell me the name of your helper, so as far as I'm concerned, you can go do something to yourself. And that's the point where I said, okay, hon, it's time for you to come down out of the train. And she gets into arguments.
With the residual hauntings, like the ones that are imprint or timestamps, is there anything you can do for that or
No.
for those? No.
It's just there. They're not spirits that need crossed over or anything else like that. You're just seeing the image of the people when they were alive, and that's not. You're seeing an image. You're not seeing a ghost.
I'm going to be honest with you, Ed. When you're here, I get completely overstimulated. Like my mind is just.
Sorry about that.
It's the shirt. Hey, no.
Poor thing. Oh,
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
No.
I made him wear it.
I just get so overwhelmed in my head with questions. What do you want to tell the people about this stuff?
We do this, okay. It's very entertaining, okay. We enjoy it, but also the main reason we do these investigations and everything is to help people, okay. People who are alive and people who are dead,
Right.
okay. Because some of these spirits are stuck on this side. They don't know why they're on this side, and with some conversation with them, we can help them out in some way. And also, we have people who say their houses are haunted by spirits that are causing them problems.
Right.
And so we try to help those people, too. And sometimes we have to explain to someone, your house is 130 years old. He was here first.
Yeah.
That's
very fair.
You moved into his house. He didn't come into your house, And just because you bought the house off of somebody, this guy owned it before, you know.
Right.
And so, we try to help the people who feel that they're being haunted, and we also try to help the people that we call haunts.
Right.
And otherwise, I don't do it for what I call shits and giggles. I just don't do it that. I have my fill of those kind of people. They're the people that are, the Ghostbuster mentality and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't do that.
No.
Well, I know the paranormal field is very vast.
Mm-hmm.
It's half my Facebook
Oh.
timeline is just paranormal people, and I see a
Oh,
lot
wow.
of infighting.
Oh yeah.
When you describe like the Ghostbusters, are there actually people that claim or think they can capture? Or
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess that's why we call it, paranormal. It's because it's not normal. And I think most of us who are in the field, maybe we're not too normal either. What I have a
We're not.
short,
we can be weird together.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
all be weird together.
Weird party.
right? What I have a short fuse with is people who think they have found the answer. Okay, there is no
There
answer.
isn't.
There is. We have our methods of working. It works for us. It works for us. Other groups may have their method of working that works for them. But just because it works for them doesn't mean they have found the answer.
Right.
Okay, there are some groups that are very technical heavy. They got all the little doodads, the little laser thingamajiggers, and
Teddy Ruxpin.
yeah, that's this Teddy Ruxpin doll that the spirit can talk through. Oh yeah, and oh yeah, and little trigger items here and there and like that.
Hey, if you're a paranormal investigator in the field and you disagree with Ed and want to come on my show and talk about why, I'd love to have you.
Sure enough.
Teddy
And
Ruxpin.
I respect other people's investigative methods.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
we did an investigation, not an investigation, we were observers in an investigation. It was done by a group that I used to have lots of respect for, okay? And in my estimation, everything they did that night was 100% opposite and wrong from what I would do.
Well, that had to be painful to watch.
But you know what? They got results. They got results. I mean, it's not what I would do. I am very solicitous of the feelings of the spirits. These people weren't.
Right.
They were confrontational, and they just they were overwhelming. We were dealing with the spirit of a young woman who had been murdered, and they were like really pushing on her too much. She left. What she did, the hell she left.
Good on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but they did get results. So I say that's not the way I would do it, but it worked for them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I always try and ask, especially when like I haven't spoken with them before, what their methods are, because I know everyone's method's different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing a lot of name dropping this episode.
Oh, okay.
I had Justin
Okay.
Brown on, who's
Okay.
a paranormal investigator, and he uses a lot of like gadgets and what
Right.
have you.
Yeah.
But his reasoning behind it was phenomenal. He was like, we're trying to explain every like completely logical, oh, we can prove the sound was messed up because of this and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
They're
So-
disproving.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
Exactly. They're
Right.
using a lot of the tools to debunk what they're finding.
Right.
We do the same thing. We recently had a case, and Nancy, remember that last case we did?
Mm-hmm.
The lady claimed that she had a poltergeist in her house, and
Right.
they're rare. They're rare. Okay.
Poltergeist, is that the manifestation of negative energy? Like we create it?
It can be, but it's also considered a minor demon where they knock stuff off of shelves and throw stuff around
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Right.
A little pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the lady said that the activity would peak whenever her 16-year-old daughter was getting into trouble at school or having arguments and stuff like that. Well, as soon as I mentioned that to Beverly, our psychic, Beverly means, well, it's PK. It's psychokinesis, that it's originating with the daughter.
Okay, so she's like manifesting and creating shit.
Yeah, but she doesn't know she's doing it.
Okay.
No.
And we went up there and we did the investigation. Now I wound up. I was like, what, that day? 13 hours at the computer staring at videos on a screen. And so I got this stuff and I says, oh yeah, look here, we got your man. Even while we're saying our prep work here, I got orbs are doing this and doing that, and I see a light flash over here and it's raising up and it's doing this, and I said, look at this orb, blah blah blah. And I go upstairs like 15 minutes later upstairs. Look, I see a visage, it's an image of an apparition with two red glowing eyes. I'm saying, wow, this place is something else. My God. So I get that all done. I'm taking notes. I type up the notes. I bring my son up, who's also an investigator. and Nancy. Brendan looks over my shoulder and he says, lens flare, light refraction, and reflection.
Doorknob.
And that thing you saw upstairs with the glowing eyes, it's a doorknob.
Doorknob.
I mean, that's good. That because
You gotta have more than one
Yeah.
set of eyes.
in order to find what's
honestly.
true, you got to find out what's not
Yeah,
true.
so what I had done for like a 30-some minute video, I was just being victimized by pareidolia nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
Both auditory, visual, every way you could. And that's why you don't take one person's word for it. And when we do these videos, there's at least 3 of us go through them. And our main thing is to debunk what we have.
On that same investigation, we got a really good KT reading, and we did get orbs.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm not trying to cause any infighting,
Uh-oh.
but I'm curious because the people that are like the, for lack of a better term, Ghostbusters,
Right.
that claim to be able to catch or apprehend, do they offer any proof of that? Do they say, here, we caught something here?
No.
No, they just talk. Okay.
No, not to be confused with a group called the Ghostbusters. From the movie Ghostbusters, these people will show up at various conferences and things like that, and they got the little ambulance that is a duplicate of the one in the movie. They even get the siren.
I've seen them come to Steel City Con. Yeah.
These people These people are fundraisers. They are doing this so they can raise money for charity. They're not actually out there doing ghost busting.
Well, shout out to them then, the Ghostbusters that are doing the charitable work, and not the people I'm maybe slandering. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what's next for you then, Ed?
Oh, let's see. I got the conference coming up. This book coming out. I have another book in the middle stages of. It'll be our most what I would consider our most interesting cases from our files. Our group's called PIP, Pennsylvania Investigators of Paranormal Phenomenon, and so a book on that. Plus, there's a spirit of a young lady who was murdered in 1863, a young black girl. And we've been working with that spirit now for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Where's that at?
That's up near Harmony, PA.
Okay.
Okay, and not just me. I've been working on it, and a couple of psychics been working on it, and doing remote work all the way from other states and everything with the young lady. And we're gradually getting more information as time goes by. And this young lady, her name is Amelia, she came to the woman who owns the house next to where she was murdered, okay? And that woman is a witch and has a supply store.
And you know the coolest people, man.
Right.
Right.
And she's also psychic, and so is her husband is also psychic. And it turns out now we're finding out her 13-year-old daughter is psychic as well. But anyhow, this entity came to her and specifically asked for me by name to write her story.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I've been researching like crazy for the last 2 years, and we've finally found out the reason, the motive behind her being murdered. We originally thought that it was because she was suspected of practicing voodoo, although she did practice voodoo, okay? But what it was is she was the caretaker for a farmer up there who owned hundreds of acres, and she was the caretaker for that farmer's wife. And the farmer's wife was expecting, and the woman died in childbirth, and they blamed Amelia for it, and they hung her from an oak tree.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
However, do you know what this means?
What?
You are known on the other side.
Yes.
That's
Well, that way I'll have friends when I go. When I go over there, maybe I'll know some people over there.
Maybe.
I hope I run to Matt Anthony Wayne. That's my man.
Let's go.
Oh, you want to go over this?
Let's go.
This will take 5 or 10 minutes.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Matt Anthony Wayne should really be called Pissed Off Anthony Wayne, but he's called Matt Anthony Wayne. He was a Revolutionary War general. Okay. Before that, he was a businessman. When the United States declared independence from Britain and decided to go to war over it, He said, well, a chance for me to mix it up with some Brits. He raised his own regiment.
Okay.
Which is what people with money did back in those days. And one of the rumors is he got the name Mad Anthony because he would take his troops into impossible situations and they would fight their way out and win. Okay, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is he had a fellow working for him. The guy's name, his nickname was Jimmy, Jemmy, not Jimmy.
Okay.
And they called him sometimes Jimmy, okay, because he was Mad Anthony's spy. And Mad Anthony would send him out to spy British troop strengths and locations and stuff. So when Jimmy would come back and make his report, then Jimmy would like disappear for a while. And then he'd show up maybe a month later and do some more work. Well, one time Jimmy's out there in the vicinity of Philadelphia somewhere and raising a little bit of hell, and he gets arrested for drunken disorderly conduct. So he demands, he said, I am a personal friend of General Anthony Wayne. I demand you send a messenger to him, and he will send word back that I have to be released because I'm a personal friend of his and I am necessary to the operation of his regiment.
Okay.
So they actually did. They sent the messenger. The Mad Anthony sends a messenger back. Says, not only do I not know this fellow, but I recommend you give him an extra 29 lashes.
Oh.
So Jimmy says, Mad, that's what he is, Mad Anthony Wayne. And the nickname stuck.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Okay.
But anyhow, he was a Revolutionary War hero. He was he threw great drinking parties for his troops. They loved him. They would go anywhere he wanted them to. They got one situation one time, and they fought their way out. And so on the way back, a little place outside of Philadelphia, on the Philadelphia main line, was a bar. So they just descended on the bar. They partied nonstop, 24 hours a day for a solid week.
Whew.
On his nickel. He paid.
Oh, so he was really wealthy.
Yes. And so the owner of the bar liked it so much he renamed the bar, called it the Anthony Wayne Inn. And it kept that name from Revolutionary War all the way up until the time it closed about a dozen years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was like super haunted, too. Guy used to sit there at the Anthony Wayne Inn, sit at the one table, and he would eat roasted rabbit, okay, with Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to frequent that place. He'd be writing poetry at a window there, and he used to like to eat roasted rabbit.
Well,
yeah,
he's never had a good taco.
Yeah.
Roasted rabbit.
Right.
Roasted rabbit is survival food. That's what we're
Yes.
eating if things are going really bad.
Well,
Right.
you can say it
Thank
tastes like
you.
chicken,
Yeah.
like
That's
everything
fair.
else.
Yeah, like squirrel, just
Yeah.
stringy chicken.
So anyhow, they go through the war, and Anthony Wayne goes to Georgia. So he's down in Georgia. He gets elected to the United States Senate from Georgia. Then they had some kind of little problems with the hanging chads or something, okay? There was a difficulty about the legality of all of his votes.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, so he resigned from the Senate and came back to Pennsylvania. Well, you know how Pennsylvania is. They immediately elected him to the legislature because that's the kind of guy they want.
That's fair.
And he was there for a while, and he retired. Okay. So it gets to be right now 1794 now. Oh, by the way, when he was actually born on New Year's Day, too.
Okay.
So anyhow, it gets to be right in 1794, and George Washington calls him up, and probably call him on the cell phone.
Yeah.
Say, hey, Mad, need you, dude.
Right.
So he called him back up. He said,
I just imagine George Washington saying, I need you, dude.
Yeah, called him up and says, we're having some troubles in the Northwest Territories. So I want you back in the Army and you take care of this for us. But when they said Northwest Territories, what they were talking about was Erie and Ohio.
Okay.
That was the Northwest Territories, and it wasn't Oregon and Washington yet.
That's immediately what I thought of.
Yeah, everybody
Exactly.
thinks that. So he went back into the Army, rounded up some guys. He went out there and he took care of the Indian problems they had out there, or Native American problems, to be politically correct. Actually, the Native Americans had problems with us. But that's at that time.
Yeah.
At that time, though, my ancestors were over in Romania, drinking vodka, and over in Ireland drinking good whiskey.
Yeah, I'm sure my ancestors are somewhere being fat pieces of shit somewhere.
Yeah. So while he's doing this, he contracts gout. Okay. Now, this guy's had a tumultuous life so far. So he comes back to Fort Presque Isle in Erie. He died of complications of gout.
Mm-hmm.
He was 54 years old. Okay. So he was pretty well liked. They buried him at the base of the flagpole.
Oh.
Yep. Now he's got a daughter, Margaretta, and a son, Isaac, back in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So Margaretta starts a campaign on Isaac. It's not right that Dad is buried out there with all them heathens. He deserves a proper burial back here in Philadelphia. He needs to be buried with the Presbyterian Cemetery here in Philadelphia, as befits a man of his stature, blah, 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 blah. She goes on for 10 years.
Said his daughter's name was Karen?
No, Margaretta.
Oh, close enough.
Yeah. So it just goes on for 10 years. Isaac was able to put up with it. Finally, Isaac broke down. He said, okay, damn it, Margaretta, I'll go get Dad. So Isaac gets a thing called a trap. And a trap is like a sports car for horses. A little two-wheeled cart with you sit up here on the front, and it had like a strong box on the back. And he's heading to Erie. He's over almost 350 miles. So he bops up to Erie, comes up there and says, I come here for my dad. Who's your dad? Anthony Wayne. Okay. So they dig up dear old Dad at the base of the flagpole. And because of soil conditions or something, Dad hadn't rotted.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was expecting a mess.
Yeah, he probably wasn't in the best condition, but, he's dead for one thing. But he hadn't rotted. So the doctor here, and his name's in my book, I forget the doctor's name, it's the guy who declared him dead with the gout. And he says to Isaac, no problem, Isaac, tell you what I'll do. I'll cut him up, and we'll boil the meat off the bones, and you can take the bones back to Philadelphia.
The hell is wrong with this doctor?
So Isaac says, okay, but I don't want to be here for it.
Okay.
So Isaac goes into town and, I guess has himself a couple of ales or whatever.
How can you think at a time like that?
Yeah.
And so they boil all the meat off the bones.
Oh, my God. I can't believe they actually did it. This
Yes.
is
Yeah.
wild.
So then what they do, they take the cauldron they used and some of the dissecting tools they used. And I guess the big spoons they used to stir the
okay.
pot and everything. And they dump all the sinews and the fat and the gravy and everything back into the hole. And they put the coffin lid and the cauldron and the tools.
Okay.
And then they put a big metal coffin lid back over top of it. Okay. And they give the bones to Isaac. So Isaac loads the bones in that box in the back of that trap back to Philly, right? Well, he gets to down right around, Lewistown, Route 322. Riding along there, and the hasp on the box works loose. So Dad's bones start bouncing out of the box, and Isaac doesn't notice this. And he comes along at night for his stage stop at night and look, oh, damn, the lid's loose. He opens it up, and so about 40 to 50% of Dad is now scattered along Route 322
Oh, my.
out near Lewistown. He gets the rest of them down to Philadelphia. Excuse me. He gets the rest of them down to Philadelphia, and they give him a proper Presbyterian burial, right? So time goes by.
Here's 100 random bones. Make sure this gets a proper burial.
Yeah.
Right.
So time goes by, and they built a guardhouse over the spot where the flagpole was.
Okay.
And, of course, now Dad's sinews and fat and everything's there. And they, little time goes by, the guardhouse burnt down. So what do? They build another guardhouse right over top of it. Another more time goes by, the guardhouse burnt down.
He's not having it.
Yeah.
Nope.
So they graded the whole property out there where the guardhouse was and turned it into a parade ground. And then promptly forgot where the guardhouse was.
Oh.
So now Matt Anthony's got his juice out there somewhere in that field over there, right?
Yeah.
1884 rolls around. This guy says, I'll do something about this. Some guy, historian, that found out about this. So this guy gets out there, and I don't know if he's on hands and knees or what, but he got all over that parade ground till he found the remnants of, like, burnt posts outlining the guardhouse.
Yeah.
And so he dug down there, and he found the cauldron and the tools and stuff. Of course, I guess all the rest of the stuff melted, like, into the ground. And so they They took the cauldron out, and he also found the coffin lid was there.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you think they did?
Did they rebury it?
No, they built a guardhouse over it.
Oh.
So this goes on, and so eventually they still have the guardhouses there with the coffin lid, but the cauldron and the tools, the Erie Historical Society got a hold of it. That sort of like brings us up to now. Okay, now, Matt Anthony, which I call now, he's pissed off Anthony because, this guy's buried all over the place.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah. On his birthday, January 1st, people have said, now I'm not saying this is true or not, it could be folklore, it could be actual true, but there's a stretch of Route 322 coming into Lewistown, okay, where on January 1st he is seen galloping along that road on his war horse in full Revolutionary War uniform looking for his bones. Okay. Now, in Philadelphia at the site of his grave, his apparition has appeared from time to time. Okay. And I don't think he's singing like, I ain't got nobody. But he's there with like half of them. He's like half a man. And then you go all the way back to Erie, okay, and there's no activity around where his body was buried. But the Historic Society has the cauldron, and the cauldron at night, not just almost all year round, is put away in a closet, and you'll hear the tools rattling and shaking inside the cauldron. And that's my man Anthony Wayne, buried in 3 different places, all over the place. He had a wildlife, and I just love the guy. I love him.
That's such a fascinating story. I tell you what, I want to thank you both for coming on so much. Guys, make sure you check out Ed Kelemen. Look his books, buy a book, his talks, come to a convention, look him up on Facebook, Google him on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want?
Yeah, you can check me out on my website, www.ekelemen, that's ekelemen.com.
Yeah, guys, check that out. Nancy, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Check her out, guys, too.
Oh, yeah, check her out.
Oh, no.
It's been a great episode. We will see you next time. For all of us here at Inquisitive Minds, peace and love.